The Our Father speaks about deep unity. We say Our Father, not my Father. So it's very important for us to realize that the Our Father brings us together as one collective union or unit. The Our Father has 7 petitions. 3 are focused on God and 4 on Jesus Christ. That is followed by the kiss of peace. Again, very important, because here we now begin to see that we are now willing to accept one another as being friends, as being equal before God. And God blesses us. We approach the table as being equal to one another and as being children of God, the same Father. Using the words Jesus himself gave us, let us say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. The Lord's Prayer, the Our Father, was taught by Jesus himself. You find it in Matthew chapter 6, verses 9 to 13. The priest knows what a privilege it is for us to be able to talk to God in this way. He feels proud about it. And he says, at our Savior's command, and formed by divine teaching, we dare to say. It leads us to address God as Father, as a loving Father, as a caring Father, as a supreme Father, as a Creator. Yes, the R points to the deep unity we have by virtue of our common Heavenly Father, and that we all are brothers and sisters with Christ. That one word, our Father, makes us children of the Father and brothers and sisters of Jesus himself. We don't pay attention to that word do we? You're smiling. We just slur over it. Beautiful. It's an important word to remember. Now don't think so much Father is more important. No, our Father. Loving, affectionate. That's important. Our Father is divided into 7 parts. You're looking at me. Yes, the Our Father is divided into 7 parts. I want to ask you, what are the 7 parts? I don't want to embarrass you, but I'll speak them out, then you can ask me questions. The first 3 are focused on God. What is that? Thy name, thy kingdom, thy word. God's name, God's kingdom, God's will. 3 very important things. Name, kingdom, will. Remember, I'm happy that some of you are taking it down. I'll give it to you later on if you want it. The last 4 are focused on deeds, actions, things that we do. And what are those? Give us, we want. Forgive us, we have done something wrong, we want pardon. Forgive us. Lead us, take us ahead. And finally, deliver us. Spare us, show your mercy on us. Our Father is very simple, isn't it? We just rattle it out. We never thought there are 3 and 4 very important components in the Our Father. Alright? Hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Three important things to the Father. Then we come to ourselves. We are a race of beggars, always asking. And the Our Father is a classical example of asking. Give us this day our daily bread. I am hungry. Feed me. I need food. Give us our daily bread. Give us something for our sustenance. First of all, here, the spiritual food. Soon be receiving the body and blood of Christ. After that we say, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Before it is receiving Holy Communion, we ask God to forgive us of all our sins. We ask for forgiveness, even so late in the Eucharist. Then we say, for the future, do not lead us into temptation. We're asking God, during this petition, we pray to avoid all trials and temptations. Keep us away from every temptation. And finally, deliver us from every evil. There are many other evils besides just temptations. Keep us away from them. Make sure that no harm falls on us. Make sure that the world does not overtake us. Keep us free. Now after the Our Father, there is a new prayer. There is another prayer. It's called the prayer of deliverance. It's taken from the last sentence of the Our Father. It says, deliver us, O Lord, we pray, from every evil. Graciously grant peace in our days, that by the help of your mercy, we may be always free from sin, safe from all distress, as we await the blessed hope and the coming of our Savior, Jesus the Christ. Very beautiful. A prayer that elaborates on the last petition of the Our Father. Deliver us from every evil. Now here, this prayer elaborates on that word, deliver us. It says, deliver us from every evil, graciously grant peace in our days, peace. So we are asking for a new kind of peace. We already will be giving the sign of peace very soon, but this is a new type of peace. It denotes an inner wholeness. This peace is saying, make me eternally solid. Help me to achieve that wholeness so that I am one with you. Important. And that wholeness comes from the fullness of faithfulness to God and His covenant. Once I am faithful to God, I am committed in my love to Him. As the Our Father says, I forgive, and I'm willing to be forgiven. Yes, then I become fully one with God. And this peace unites me with that divine person. So I become whole. Very important. And the priest prays that Jesus deliver us from all these anxieties that keep us from experiencing that deep peace that Jesus has given to His people. When we talk about this deliver us, O Lord, that prayer again is giving us an eternal peace. And the priest prays and says, deliver us from all these anxieties so that I may have that eternal peace within me. Internal peace. And what do you respond? Do you say Amen? No. So what do you say? Yes, thank you. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. So my way of saying yes is by this response. Again, we just rattle it out, don't we? We don't know what we are saying. We are saying exactly this. We're telling the Lord, yes, you have offered us this peace. I'm willing now to respond to it, to accept it most willingly. I'm willingly accepting that peace for thy kingdom, thy power, and thy glory. Make sense? Very good. It is not part of the prayer of the Our Father that Jesus taught us. It's not included in the Our Father, but it seems to be very much in keeping with the theme or the idea of the Our Father. It's a summarizing or bringing to climax the gist of the Our Father. At every Mass, we echo the words of King David, acknowledging God as the Lord of our lives, and we praise Him for all His blessings. For David said, for the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours forever and ever. Amen. So you're singing the song of King David. But that song has a very, very powerful meaning. It says, yes, I am very generously offering whatever you have given to me. So you receive one form of peace. Let's go to the different type of peace. Before Holy Communion, the priest or deacon will say to the people, let us offer each other the sign of peace. It is then very customary that you shake a hand with someone who is in close proximity to you. Now this liturgical gesture has its roots at the very, very beginning of Christianity. It's not something that has begun just a few years ago. And the spiritual symbolism of this act is found in the Gospel of Saint Matthew, where Jesus said, if you are offering your gift at the altar, and there you remember your brother has something against you, leave your gift before the altar, go, first be reconciled to your brother, and then come back and offer your gift. You find this in Matthew chapter 5, verses 23 and 24. So what are we doing here? The sign of peace, or even better, the kiss of peace, is nothing else but a sign of reconciliation. That I forgive you, you forgive me. We need to be able to forgive one another before we go to receive the body and blood of Christ. The current general instruction of the Roman Missal again explains this very beautifully. Pay close attention. There follows the rite of peace, by which the Church entreats peace and unity for herself and for the whole human family. And the faithful expresses to each other their ecclesial communion and mutual charity before communicating in the sacrament of the Eucharist. It's just what I just said. We share with one another peace. We say, I am with you. I am a part and parcel of you. I have no grouses against you. And we are now united as one family. And so as one family, as one unit, I can approach the altar to receive the body and blood of Christ. The Apostolic Constitution instructs, it says, let the bishop salute the church and say, "The peace of God be with you all." And let the people answer, "And with your spirit." And then let the deacon say to all, "Salute one another with the holy kiss of peace." Beautiful. Coming down in 3 stages, showing again to us, the bishop, the deacon, and we are all part of that one united church. What we call the sign of peace, the early church called the kiss of peace. It was a custom, and is still today in many places. For example, when you meet friends or go to a party and you're introduced to someone, what do? You kiss the person on both cheeks. And if it's a gentleman, I shake hand and give him a good hug. But when I ask you here, why can't we kiss one another? You're looking very embarrassed. But you do it at parties, don't you? At parties, we have all come together as one unit. Similarly here in the church, we have come as one unit. We have come here to participate in this Eucharist. And now what is going to bring us together very, very strongly is receiving of the body and blood of Christ. So I am one with you. I love you with all my heart. I've forgiven you everything. So why can't I express this affection through a sign of peace, which is a kiss? You don't have to feel embarrassed. It's the done thing. This gesture from the time of St. Gregory the Great was seen as a prerequisite for the reception of communion. It is a sign of willingness to forgive and to be forgiven. Both are equally important, as we see in the Our Father. Forgive as we forgive. Both are very important. The kiss of peace was typically given only to those standing on either side of you. Later, it was the sign of peace, or the kiss of peace, descended from the sanctuary, the altar. The priest there would kiss the person on his left or on his right, and they would go and kiss the next person down the line. And then the others would keep kissing one another. What does it signify? That the peace of Christ comes from Christ, from the altar, and it goes down to the very last person. So you see, it is a very symbolic gesture. What do? We just turn around and do that here. Almost a meaningless gesture. It was supposed to be a gesture of tremendous reverence to the other person. I respect you, I love you. But there is nothing better, if you ask me, than to be able to kiss somebody on the cheek, showing love, showing affection. This was further cemented when the priest would first kiss the altar and then pass the kiss to his attendants. He would say, "Peace be with you, let us offer each other the sign of peace." He would kiss the altar, then kiss the attendant on one side, the attendant on the other. And then they would go kiss the people closer to them, and the kiss of peace would descend from the altar right down to the last person. There was another custom that was also in existence. There was a small board. It was called the pax, peace, the board of peace. The priest would take that, kiss it. After he kissed it, he would pass it to the person on his right. He would kiss that board, and then pass it to the other. And that board went right down and came back the other side. So again, a very, very beautiful way of telling us that the peace of Christ comes from the altar, comes from Christ, and does not exclude anyone in the congregation. All of us share in the peace of Christ. The sign of peace is highly symbolic. It is meant to point toward the disposition of heart required for receiving the Eucharist. It's trying to tell you that I am now totally prepared to receive the body and blood of Christ. I've forgiven everybody around. I've accepted everyone as my fellow human beings in genuine love. So I can now receive the body of Christ. It reminds the faithful that in order to be in full communion with Christ, one must first love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. And not forget to love your neighbor as yourself. The commandment of Jesus. The commandment of love. You find this in Mark chapter 12, verse 30. So we need to be able to share that. I think that's a very, very important part of the sign of peace. A kiss has been a common token of affection. I did not explain that to you. We kiss someone whom we love. We kiss also someone whom we respect. Like say the Holy Father or the Bishop's ring, out of respect. The altar, out of respect. So kiss is a symbol of affection. We kiss persons also when we meet them, greeting, or when we are saying goodbye. We kiss them, farewell. We kiss people in our family, in our neighborhood, people who are close to us. At Mass, everyone is close to one another because we are children of the same God. We saw that earlier in the Our Father. We say, Our Father, not my Father, our Father. So we are all children of that same God. Remember that. Members of church greeted one another with a kiss. Greet one another in a holy kiss. You find that in Romans 16:16 and again in 1 Peter 5:14. So you see, the sign of peace is nothing else but a sign of forgiveness and at the same time a sign of love, accepting everybody else as being part of myself.